Hey, Prozzie.
Yeah.
What's up with stereotypes? Like, what do the Chinese people actually think of us?
I don't know. Let's find out.
Hey. Steve, okay.
Hey,
look
at this.
Good to
Good
see you,
it is.
friend. Nice. That's great.
How you been?
I'm all right. Just got out of work, actually.
Yeah?
I was looking for a bite to eat.
Oh, really? So you stopped outside a 5 Below Zero to...
Yeah, you know, I'm on the carbless diet, so...
Carbless diet, so you better go check out
Just want to go check out a bread shop. Great. Dude, I'm starving. Do you want to grab something to eat?
I am extremely hungry, so yeah.
What do you want?
Burger King?
Yeah, Burger King. It sounds great. Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Dude, I just realized something.
What's that?
We don't have any booze. Hey dude, do you want Chinese or Western?
Stop asking me that. It's Chinese every time.
We'll get two. Get two of those. It's flawless. Hey Laowinners, it's Laowinners here with another video, and today we are in a barbecued beef restaurant, and actually I heard good things about it. I heard they have some really high quality beef, and we also have a very strange alcohol here. Okay guys, we've just got a very amazing explanation from the boss here that this is an actual medicinal alcohol we would call a
Ripper. We call them rippers.
But this is a golden ripper.
That's the special kind of rippers. If you want to know more about what a ripper is, we have a video that was up called What is a Ripper? Golden rippers are very special to us. We've had these before, and
this is like a different version, and the Laoban basically, I won't put his entire interview in there because it goes on forever.
He knew everything about it.
Because he studied Chinese medicine. He basically said that if you sweat at night, even when you're not hot, if you can't sleep, all kinds of health problems like this, your skin's bad, this plant that grows in Guangdong is what you're looking for.
Yep.
And it's only found in Guangdong, so this is a very local, special thing. So here we are, golden ripper time. Shall we do it?
Yeah, you got AIDS? Have a ripper. Prostate cancer?
Have a ripper.
Have a rip. Your wife left you?
Have a ripper.
Have a ripper. Bad skin, your wife left you. Come to China.
I have bad skin because my wife left me. So I had a ripper. Okay, so let's go for a smell. Smell test here is incredibly, incredibly sweet.
It smells a lot like rum, to be honest with you. It smells like Jack.
Jack isn't rum.
It's whiskey. No, I know it's whiskey, but it smells like that kind of dark alcohol.
Dark alcohol. It smells like cane sugar to me. And brown sugar.
Sugar cane?
No, cane sugar, like the kind that comes in a cake. It's a Chinese sugar.
Okay.
Relax. It's not sugar cane.
Cane
Jesus,
sugar, sorry.
You're here and you?
You're here and you. To Golden Rips.
I made my balls hurt.
It's like a ginger. It's like, yeah, no, I would put it like not a ginger root, but
like
there is
ginkgo or something.
Yeah.
Ginkgo biloba.
That you put in Jack Daniels.
Ginkgo biloba fat. I'm going to give that a 6.5. I'm
gonna give it a 7. Actually, that was really good.
It's actually kind of tasty.
It is nice. I would mix that.
It does have a weird plant-like taste to it, but it's not bad. So this guy is super, super happy. 为什么这个人那么开心？因为他喝了这个酒，对吧？
应该，我想这是他们这个酒的代言人。
Yeah, this is from Hunan. Okay, this is Hunan baijiu. Going for the smell. It smells sweet. It smells like the kind of like the Sichuan baijiu that I like.
It smells like. It actually smells like one of the worst baijius I've ever had in my life.
Stay positive. You're here and you.
And it is.
It's not bad. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's actually pretty good. I kind of like that one. Very spicy.
I'm gonna look like that guy by the end of the night.
Maybe so spicy. It's very good. It is very good. I like this one. I'm gonna give this one a 6 out of 10.
I'm gonna give it a 3.5.
We're eating basically beef that is from the northwest of China, and it is really, really, really delicious compared to the beef that we get down here in Guangdong, which is usually a water buffalo. And water buffalo, they call it beef, but it's actually not beef, is it?
No, it's not. Actually, funny you should say that, because I made steaks last night, and I went to Walmart and bought some steaks, and it's not good beef. It's not quality beef.
Exactly.
You're not going to get T-bone or anything like that.
No, so we come here. Try this out, Prozzie. I've heard very, very good things. And apparently they make their own spices that they mix together at home, which is really, really cool.
Looks like
We can take those, yeah. You got your own spices. And let's go for a dip. Let's go for a little test. ＬDRILNWLVE, cheers.
Cheers.
Bingo. Beef quality is outstanding. And that homemade spice is outlandishly delicious. So yeah, when I first came to China, basically the thing I got about Americans, because I'm American, right? People would say, hey, Americans are fat. Americans have big noses. Americans just kind of like this major stereotype of what we were, what we look like, how we act, right? But I'd say the biggest stereotype that I experienced was actually not as an American, but just as a foreigner. And this blanket term foreigner means every country in the entire world, but at the same time usually only means Westerners, because that's usually who they're talking about. But we're lumped in with Indians and Japanese and everything. White people, black people, it's all the same. What's your experience with like being stereotyped? Like what have people said about you being a Canadian here in China?
Pretty much the exact same thing, except my country, I mean, again, I'm Canadian. Our country is not as well known as America. We don't have as much of an international influence as you do. People kind of go, oh, you're Canadian, and then that's it. There's nothing, they don't really know anything about us. They lump us in, like you just said, with the rest of the white people. The one country I get confused with the most are Russians. Probably more has to do with the fact that they're so close to China, but I'm not sure. We look a lot like Russians, I guess.
I get that all the time.
Yeah, Russian.
I actually live in a really bad, despite what you guys might think, I live in a really bad part of the city. Prozzie can attest to this.
Yeah, I used to live in it.
So bad things happen down here. It's kind of the club scene area. And because of that, all of the white people in the area actually work at the clubs, and they're actually just Russian dancers at the clubs. So I think they assume
Russian.
I'm flattered because they're very good-looking people.
They're
But
very pretty.
at the same time, I don't want to be called Russian.
Yeah, no. Russians are often hired to do, like you just said, that kind of stuff. Modeling. It's gonna be weird though. Like you'll go to like corner stores and stuff, and people will like guess. They'll be like, "Oh, how are you doing?" or whatever. They'll say hello, and then they'll go, "Oh, are you French?" Or like, "Oh, are you Russian? Or are you from?" And it's like, they're just saying countries, and it's like, where did you get that?
But when they get the right one, you're like, "Oh, how did you know?" Like you'd be like so offended, like, "You call me Russian?" And then they're like, "Oh, are you German?" Because my family's German. I'm like, "Oh, how did you know?"
Yeah.
I'm all like impressed, and they just guess. There's no rhyme or reason
They're
to it.
said countries. They have no idea. They're not,
We should put that in there and get some of that chili in there too, because this, my friend. Why don't you go for the brown? I'll go for the red, and then we'll alternate. What?
okay.
Is that a joke? You want to laugh at something that's not funny again? Remember when you were mean to me in the last episode?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Wasn't that mean?
Yourself. Some of the things that I would always hear is like, "Oh, you foreigners are so open,"
Yeah, openness.
That?
Yeah.
I don't know didn't even know what that meant, to be honest. I guess open-minded, or is it like, I always took it as an offense, to be honest.
Well, one thing that Chinese people always tell me about themselves is that they don't show their personalities first. They're supposed to be mysterious. They're supposed to be kind of mundane and humble, right? Until you meet them personally, and then they let it all out. Whereas
Right.
foreigners, we're not usually like that, unless you're an introvert. But normally, I mean, you're a nice enough person where you kind of let yourself out there, that you
Right.
don't have to be. You don't have to worry about face, right?
Sure.
Which is a big thing.
Sure.
The other interesting thing about China is that in recent history they were really closed off.
Right.
What left and came to China was extremely controlled. So they don't really have a very good idea of the distinction between British people, Americans, Canadians, Australians, New Zealand people, all the other countries. They don't really have a good idea yet. It's happening with
Sure.
more media and the more it comes out with, but
The young people, I find, actually have a way better understanding.
oh, of course. But they just have the privilege of growing up in a better China,
Like, I try to tell this to Chinese people. I'm like, hey, British people and American people are incredibly different.
They're
right?
so different.
Like, the base values might be the same, but the actual culture is like completely different. An
the way they
example,
behave, yeah.
British people are very, very much for personal equality, so you don't chide someone for success. You try to keep everyone at the same level. It's the whole poppy experiment. They want to chop down the tallest poppy to match the other ones. Whereas Americans and North Americans, they chide that. If someone's successful, you appreciate them and you respect what they've done. Chinese people have no idea about those cultural distinctions, and so it even goes as far to say that we are the same as a Russian person. To tie that back in, there's nothing different in my father-in-law and mother-in-law's eyes from us to Russian people, which
Exactly.
is absolutely ridiculous because they have way more in common with China than they have with us.
Oh man, yeah. Russians fit in a lot better here than we do.
For sure.
It goes even deeper that too, because I mean, the more I've learned a lot about America since coming to China, and not all Americans are the same. He's from New York.
Right.
He is not the same guy as someone you're going to meet in the South, from like Texas or Alabama. You know.
Just like you're not the same kind of Canadian that you're going to meet from Vancouver. You're from the East.
Yeah, I mean, depending on where you're from in the West, like if you're a British person watching this video, you're going to have a slightly different experience than we will, because you're going to want to you're not going to want to, you're just going to naturally hang out with people that are from kind of the same culture. It's more comfortable. I'm from Ottawa, he's from New York. I could drive to where he's from in 3 hours. So yeah, we're from different countries, but it's still the same culture. Whereas I've met British people, and it's actually wildly different. It's odd. Like, we speak the same language, and like you said, we hold the same values, but they're not the same people. They're different.
One of the stereotypes I've heard over and over and over again about white people is that different areas of white people have different characteristics, and you will actually hear things, and I kid you not, when you come to China, you're going to hear things like Hitler was a good man. You might be taken aback, and you might say, wait, are you kidding me right now? Like, did you actually just say that? And actually, what they mean is that his leadership qualities were so good that he was able to command that many people, and that's kind of how strength is seen here. So the stereotype, again, you are going to take it way out of context, and you're going to be shocked by it, but there's no harm actually meant by that. Another thing is that Jewish people are smart, and you would not believe how many times I've heard this from my wife's family and from people around me. They're like, oh, you're from New York, so you're Jewish. Oh, you must be so smart. I'm like, no, I'm not Jewish. I'm actually German. My grandparents came from Germany.
Which means you're immediately, I'm not Jewish.
Yeah, stereotypes that Jews are really, really smart. And I've been asked over and over again by Cantonese people, especially, because I'd say they're the Jews of the Orient.
Published in 2016. Check it out in bookstores near you. Jews of the Orient.
My father-in-law goes, are you Jewish? Like when we first met. And I was like, what is it, my nose? Like, I don't understand, you know what I mean?
These curly sideburns?
Is it the curly sideburns? Like, what is it setting you off that I'm into?
Nice
and he
open.
goes, no, I knew that you're from New York, so I wanted to know. And I'm like, oh, Vivi, like, your parents don't like Jews. What's going on there? And she's like, no, they love them. They were hoping you were, because, like, they're the smartest people in the world. And I was like, where did you get that data from? It is a long-held belief that Jewish people are the smartest people in China, or in the world.
We aren't talking about all Chinese people, by the way. Please don't. I don't want people to come on this video and be like, no, I'm Chinese and I don't think that
How
way.
much
or
you want to
whatever.
bet? Watch this.
Well, it's definitely going to happen, but that's what I'm saying. We're not generalizing the entire population.
哎，
We're
老板，
saying-
你觉得犹太人聪明吗？犹太人，
犹太人，
对，
没有真正接触过
啊
但是从我们学到的知识里面，
啊
犹太人不是最聪明的，应该在我们给到我们的印象是最会做生意的，
哦，OK，好。
最会赚钱。
People love blanket generalizations here, so like your personality is less than your country or where you're from. So your identity is like, oh, you must be fat. Oh, you must be smart. Oh, my mother-in-law, no joke. She goes, oh, you're American. I'm like, yeah. She goes, oh, when you have a kid, it's gonna have blonde hair and blue eyes. And I go, well, no, because I have brown hair and green eyes, so probably not. Americans have blonde hair, you have blonde hair.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
The individual in China does not matter nearly as much as how much you're valued in a group. You could be dumb, you could be uncharismatic, you can have all these negative attributes about yourself, but if you're important to the group of people that you're around, it matters way more. It's way more significant in China than your actual identity, who you are. Who you are doesn't matter. What you are matters way more. Now, he's an American. That's not who he is. I mean, it is to an extent. But that doesn't mean he has blonde hair and blue eyes. That's where it's stemming from. So when you come here, I mean, it's really important that you don't constantly, like he didn't keep his lens, right? He eventually realized that that's just the way they see things.
Right.
It's really important not just to demonize it all and throw this negative mindset and be like, Chinese people are just dumb. That's not
Right.
what's happening. They have a different lens of looking at the one situation than you do.
Sure. Thank you so much, Laowinners and patrons out there. Thank you for tuning in every Tuesday with me and Prozzie. We are Lao86, and we are here to bring you the hot topics of China and kind of what you want to hear.
Comment, link, and subscribe at the bottom. Post questions, and we'll try and answer on the next one. Also, if you have any ideas for another video of What's Up With, let us know, and we will try and do our best to make that happen.
Shoot those requests over to patreon.com/Lao86 and we'll check them out.
Can't believe you're breaking up with me.
Now it's time for our subscriber question. And it's from Younuber, YOUN00BER, and he or she says, "Great vid. You can bring your own drinks to restaurants?"
Younuber. Great question. Yeah, you can bring your drinks to pretty much every restaurant. There are some that make that are exceptions. They'll have signs in front though that tell you that you can't bring any alcohol into the places.
Give me an ah.